So this is a 1986 Merchanti Spanish card of a guy named Oscar Schmidt. And most people don't maybe not have heard of him, but he is the all-time scoring leader in professional basketball, more than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Wow.
This is the Bird Magic, Julius Erving, all triple signed.
Story behind, did you get them signed yourself?
No, I didn't. I guess the story behind this one is just the kind of hunt to get the right copy that you'd be looking for. In this case, because all three players are signing it, you might have different ink, different size fonts, different ways of signing it. Some are vertical, some are horizontal. But my goal here was to try to get all the players signed in blue ink, in the middle, in like a thin Sharpie. So it took, even though there's a lot of these out there, it took a long time to find one like this. So this is called a 1971 Topps Trios, and it was issued one per pack in with the 1971 cards. And this is really the first third panel card that was ever made. So 1980 Topps was not the first time they did this. This is actually stickers. And this one right here is, I think, one of the better ones in the set. It's Pete Maravich, John Havlicek, and a guy named Bob Kaufman in the middle.
I love the black border. It's so different from the 1980 Bird Magic Irving card, which is white background. This has a black background. I think that is just a really cool looking card. So this is a mint 9. What's the total population on a card like this? Best guess, if you don't know offhand.
Yeah, maybe 12.
12 total graded. That's the 61 Bob Cousy. That's the first graded card you ever bought.
Yep.
And that's the card that got you started down the rabbit hole.
Yep, absolutely.
Card 1 of 1,500 right there, everybody. What else would you like to say about it, if anything, or you want to go on? So there you go, Mitch. There's the 57 Dolph Shays. That's a near mint 8. What a cool looking card.
For me, just the coloring of it looks looked very different from the start. Celtics fan, and it wasn't a cheap purchase as a first one either. So it still means a lot to me.
It's a mint 9. Yeah, it's a pretty card, man.
This is Bill Russell.
So we're looking at the 57 Topps Bill Russell. That is a PSA near mint 7. What do you want to tell us about? Tell us a story about, was that an upgrade? Was it the first copy and only copy you've ever bought? Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, so it's the only copy that I've had. And I guess the story around that
Hold it up when you're talking about it. We want to see it. We want to see it. Yeah, thank you.
I guess the story around the card is not that memorable, but it's the opportunity to have chance of picked up an 8 at one point. So I vividly remember, I had bought this card, and about 2 weeks later, there was an 8 that popped up on eBay, and it would have only been, I think, it's definitely a lot of money, but $2,000 or $3,000 upgrade to go from a 7 to an 8. And, obviously the disparity between those prices now is just incredible, but, almost had the opportunity to be one grade higher, but I decided that it wasn't in my budget at the time. So stuck with this one.
Yeah. Amazing card.
This is just one I just wanted to point out. Most people would not know this player. This guy's name is Nat Sweetwater Clifton. So this is card number 1 in the 57 set, and it's an 8, and there's only 12 or 13 of them and none higher. So if you're going to collect the 57 set, this is one of the cornerstones of that set. So it has some meaning in relation to that. And he was also the first African-American to sign an NBA contract.
Wow.
So, I think that has some historical significance as well.
I'm that's a fact that you just mentioned, yet I'd never heard of him. Yet I hear all about Jackie Robinson. Do you know do you have any idea why the first African-American player to sign in the NBA wasn't as celebrated as the first baseball player? I guess baseball being America's pastime has a lot to do with it, but what have you learned about that?
I don't. I mean, the only thing I could think of is that it just wasn't as popular as a sport back at that time.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. Jake's Toe wanted to know, what did the koozie cost when you bought it, if you're willing to share that information?
I think it was about $700.
Okay, great. What do you got next? Let's see another card.
All right. So, I mentioned the 71 set, that one I'm collecting now. I just think these cards are so cool to look at. It kind of brings you back to the 70s and that time with the writing at the top. And this is one of the, he was actually voted the best ABA player of all time, tied with Julius Erving. So most people have maybe not heard of Roger Brown, but he was one of the all-time best ABA players.
So this is the 71 top set. Yep. Roger Brown. And just for people listening, not watching, what I love about this card is the font used for the word Indiana across the top. That I've never seen that font on cards anywhere else. And I don't know why they did this, but in his name, they made, the first letter of his first name and the first letter of his last name are printed in red, and the rest of the letters are in black. So an interesting design. I think that's just so unique to the time period, and a really cool card. I like also how there's this pink square background, but yet the image of him, it extends past the border of the background where his head comes off and almost infringes on the word Indiana. Like, I just think it's a really cool card. I'm not that familiar with the set, so thanks for showing it. That's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a Pop 1.
Pop 1. That's a Gem Mint 10. Yeah, wow.